welcome back to my channel. Before I want to get started, I want to thank you all so much for all the positive feedback from my last video. I'm so happy to finally be doing this and making all these videos for you guys. So today I decided to make a beginner's vinyasa flow video for you. So whenever you're ready, come down to your mat to a nice seated position, closing the eyes, relaxing the hands over the knees, finding a good natural posture. Breathing that belly into the spine. As you start to be aware of the breath, finding those deep breaths in and out through the nose. We're going to continue this deep breathing through the nose for the whole practice. So on your exhale, round the shoulders down, tuck the chin to the chest, arch your back forward. Inhale as you rise back up, let the shoulders roll back and down. Take a big inhale here. Exhale, roll the shoulders forward, round the spine, tucking that chin to the chest, arch yourself over. Exhale here. Inhale as you rise up, sit up as tall as you can. Make sure to roll those shoulders back and down. The head looks up to the ceiling. Exhale, then roll the shoulders back down. Inhale, rising back up. Letting the shoulders roll back and down the spine, the gaze looks upward. Come back to your neutral seating position, opening the eyes. Let's go ahead and interlace the fingers, placing the hands behind the head. Inhale, sitting up nice and tall. Exhale as you fall over the right side of the body. Option to drop the right hand to the mat. Also, you have the option of extending that left arm, furthering the stretch through the left side body. Inhale as you come back to center, interlace the hands behind the head. Exhale this time as you fall over the left side, placing the left hand on the mat is optional, as well as extending that right arm. Exhale, breathe here. Inhale, rise back up to center. Exhale as you fall over the right side once again, knowing you have those different variations. Finding whatever speaks to your body. As you inhale, come back up to center. Sit up nice and tall. Then exhale, fall over the left side of the body, taking whichever variation speaks to you today. And inhale as you come back to center. We're going to place the hands under the shoulders, the knees under the hips for our all fours or tabletop pose. We're going to exhale, round the spine up towards the ceiling for our cat pose. Inhale as you allow the belly to swoop low into cow. Let the head and the hips rotate upward. Exhale, push the earth away from you into cat. Round that spine upward. Inhale, find your cow. Let the belly sweep nice and low. Exhale, find your cat pose, tucking the chin to the chest as much as you can here. Inhale into cow, actively rotating those hips up towards the sky. Exhale, come back to your tabletop pose. Inhale, straighten the left leg out behind you, toes pointed. Exhale, bend the knee, drawing it into your chest. Try to get the forehead to knee contact for tiger pose. Inhale, straighten it back out. Exhale, contract, bend the knee in towards the chest for tiger. Inhale, straighten it back out. Exhale, contracting the knee in towards the upper body. See if you can get that contact. Inhale, sticking it back out. Exhale, drop the left knee. This time the right leg extends, lifts off the mat, right toes are pointed. Exhale, bend the knee, arching through the upper back to get that knee to reach the head if possible. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, bend the knee, pulling it into the chest. Tiger pose. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, one last time, knee pulling into the chest, forehead looking down at the hips. Inhale, lengthen. Go ahead and drop that knee to the floor. Curling the toes underneath you as you straighten the legs, sending the hips up towards the sky for downward facing dog. Keeping the knees as bent as you need here for comfort. As we begin to walk the dog, alternating the heels, let one rise high as the other lowers. Stretching out the entire back side of the legs, as well as eventually helping our heels work themselves down to the floor if they are not already there. Just go ahead and alternate the heels, bending the knees dramatically. Once you find stillness and downward facing dog, come back to that deep breathing through the nose. Inhale, gaze looks forward, tiptoe the feet up to forward fold, Uttanasana. Exhale here. Inhale as you slowly rise up one vertebrae at a time, head being the last thing to come up into mountain pose, Tadasana. Bring the hands up overhead. Bringing those hands down to heart center with a flat back, fold over back into forward fold, hands plant on the earth. Exhale here. Inhale, find your halfway lift. Place the hands on the thighs, straighten the back and the legs. Place the hands back on the earth for forward fold. Inhale, legs step behind you for high plank. Exhale, bending the elbows, keeping them close to the body. Lower yourself onto the earth, untucking the toes. And stretching through the upper back, push up into cobra pose. Exhale, lower back down to the earth. Inhale, using the strength in your arms to push yourself back into a high plank. From there, come into your downward facing dog. Exhale here. Taking a few deep breaths for your own. And once you're done with those deep breaths, go ahead and inhale, look forward as you slowly tiptoe those feet to meet in forward fold Uttanasana. Inhale, rise all the way up, tall mountain pose, hands meet at the top for Tadasana. Bringing those hands down to heart center with a flat back, folding back down into forward fold Uttanasana. Exhale here. Inhale, find your halfway lift, monkey pose. The gaze is at the top of the mat in front of you. Exhale, place the hands back on the earth. Inhale as you stretch the legs out behind you in your high plank. Option to find cobra or stick with me for upward facing dog. Bend the elbows, come onto the tops of the feet, straighten the arms. The thighs are engaged and off the ground, and curling the toes back underneath you, hips go back to the sky for downward facing dog. Come back to that deep breath, recheck in with yourself. Inhale as you straighten that left leg up towards the sky for a three-legged down dog. Left toes are pointed. Exhale, bend that left knee into the chest. Foot drops in between the hands for low lunge. Once you're there, bring the arms up overhead for our high lunge. And you can tuck that right heel back down for warrior one. So the shoulders and the hips are squared to the front of the room as much as they can be. Cartwheel those arms back down to the floor. Lift up that left leg to meet the right in downward facing dog. Take an exhale here. Inhale, straighten that right leg up towards the ceiling for three-legged down dog. Point those right toes. Exhale, bend the right knee into the chest. Right foot drops in between the hands, low lunge. Once the balance is there, bring those arms up and overhead. Then round that back left heel down to the mat. Square the shoulders towards the front of the room. Keep the breath going through the nose. Lunge deep onto that front right leg. Bringing those hands back down to the earth. Lift that right foot to meet the left in downward facing dog. Take a few breaths here. Gaze looks forward. Hop those feet up to the top of the mat in forward fold. Exhale here. Inhale, rise all the way up to tall mountain pose, Tadasana. Bring those hands up to the top, interlacing all the fingers except keeping the pointer and the thumb reaching upward. Inhale, sit up nice and tall. Exhale, point over the right side of the body. Inhale as you reach up nice and tall once again. This time exhale, point over the left side. Inhale as you rise back to center. Bring those hands to your heart with a flat back, folding all the way down to the floor. Let the hands meet the floor in Uttanasana. Inhale, find your halfway lift, monkey pose. Exhale, place the hands back on the earth as you find the high plank on your inhale. Finding your flow here, whether it be upward facing dog or cobra. Inhale once you are there. Curl the toes underneath you, sending the hips back to the sky for downward facing dog. Preparing for a leg lift on the left side. Lift that left leg up towards the ceiling. Left toes are pointed, stretching through the hips. On your next exhale, bend that left knee into the chest. Left foot drops in between the hands for low lunge. Once the balance is there, raise those arms up overhead. Then let that right back heel come back down to the mat. Arms are out to a T. Your gaze can be over those front fingertips for warrior two. Make sure you're rolling the shoulders back and down. Flip the front palm, reach towards the front of your mat, then send that energy upward for reverse warrior, still keeping a nice deep lunge in the front leg. You can keep the right hand on the right hamstring, or you can bend the right elbow, keeping the forearm in the small of your back. Totally up to you here. Bring those hands back to the front foot, lifting that left foot to meet the right in downward facing dog. Exhale here. Inhale this time as you lift the right leg up nice and high for your three-legged down dog. Right toes are pointed. On your next natural exhale, bend that right knee, right foot drops in between the hands, low lunge. Inhale, rise up into your high lunge. Let that left arm rotate towards the back of the room. The left heel meets the mat in warrior two. Arms are out to a T. Gaze is over those front fingertips. Breathe the belly into the spine. As you flip the front palm, reach towards the front of the room, sending that hand up towards the sky as the left hand grabs the left hamstring, or you have that option once again to bring that left forearm in the small of the back. The gaze can be down at your left heel. Make sure you're keeping a nice deep lunge on the front right leg, bringing those arms to frame the front foot, lifting the front foot to meet the back in downward facing dog. Breathe here. Inhale, gaze looks forward. Walk yourself up into your into your forward fold. Exhale here. Inhale as you rise up into Tadasana Mountain Pose. As we begin our first standing balancing pose here, we're going to begin with tree. So starting on our left side, you can take that right heel, place it on the left ankle as a kickstand. Option 2 is to bring the right heel under the knee. Option 3, if it's available to you, is bring the right sole of the foot into the upper thigh on the left side. Once your balance is there, you can either bring the hands to heart center, or you can let the branches of your tree grow upward to extend the arms up towards the ceiling. You may lose your balance while you're here, and that's perfectly fine. If you fall out of the pose, I invite you to come back in with grace as if nothing was happening. As it is called a yoga practice, so we have to practice and practice if it will be something of value. Release the arms and release the legs as we begin the same on the other side, keeping that left heel down on the right ankle as a kickstand, left foot directly under the right knee, or bringing that left foot into the upper right thigh. Finding your hand positioning, knowing that sometimes one side of the body can be dramatically more balanced or flexible than the other. So just taking whatever modifications you need for whichever side of the body that you are on. As you find your drishti, your gaze, a spot in the room that isn't going to move, that will help you balance. Release the hands and release the leg to the floor, sweeping the arms upward, keeping the biceps close to the ears. We're going to send the hips back and down as we bend the knees into our chair pose. You can keep the knees as little or as much bent here as you would like. In your chair pose, just no matter where you are, make sure you can look down and still see those toes. If you can't, you need to send the hips back to the back of the mat a little bit further. Take another breath here. Exhale as you straighten the legs, placing the hands on the earth for your forward fold, Uttanasana. Exhale as you extend the legs out behind you for your downward facing dog, actively pushing the torso towards the thighs. Inhale as we prepare to find a leg lift on our left side. Extend that left leg up towards the ceiling. Left toes are pointed. Extend that leg as high as you can. Exhale, bend the left knee, pulling it into your chest. This time the left toes are going to point towards the right hand. Drop the outer calf on the mat for pigeon pose. Untuck the toes of the right foot. We're going to walk the hands back behind the hips as we roll the shoulders back and down. Gaze looks upward for a minor back bend. Once that's completed, walk the hands to the top of the mat. If the flexibility allows, you can drop the forearms, perhaps even the head, down to the mat. As we begin the cool down phase in our practice, coming back to that deep breathing if it was lost. Allowing the upper body to fall heavy onto that front bent thigh. Breathing deep, feeling the belly rise and fall off the leg. On your next inhale, walk the hands back up. To get out of this, we're going to curl the toes underneath us on our right leg. Stretch up back into downward facing dog. Both legs are straight behind you. Exhale here. Inhale as we do the same on the right side, beginning with that three-legged down dog, right toes pointed up towards the sky. Bend that right knee into the chest. The right foot meets the top of the left hand for pigeon pose. Untuck the toes on your left side. Walking those hands up to the hips, roll the shoulders back and down, the gaze looks upward for your back bend. Once that's done, walk the hands or the forearms down to the mat. Find your version of the pigeon pose today. Once again, just focusing on that deep breathing, feeling the energy flow through the body. As you send prana, send life throughout the body. Keeping the breath going. On your next inhale, we're going to slowly walk the hands back to the mat. From here, we're going to shift the weight into our right hip as we bring that left leg around, straightening both legs in front of us for staff pose. Relaxing the hands onto the thighs, the toes are pointed up towards the sky. Keeping the back as straight as we can. Inhale, bring the arms up overhead. Exhale as we fold over the lower half of our body for seated forward fold. If the feet aren't something that is accessible for you, grab whichever part of the legs that are, still actively pulling yourself towards the lower half of the body. Slowly rise back up to your neutral seated position. Bending that right knee as you take the right foot, place it over the left leg. Inhale, rise the arms up overhead. Exhale as you twist over the left side of the body. The left elbow is going to meet that right knee. Right hand is propped out behind you. For our seated spinal twist, twist deep over that right shoulder. Inhale, let the spine come back to a neutral position, bringing those arms up overhead. This time placing the left foot over the right leg, twisting over the left side of the body. The right elbow is going to meet the outer edge of the left knee. Twisting deep over that left shoulder. Seeing if with every exhale, if you can twist just a little bit deeper, micro movements here. Release the spine back to its neutral position, bending the knees so the soles of the feet meet the floor. Lower the back down to the mat. Let the hands rest near the hips. Contracting through the glutes, lift the hips off the floor for our bridge pose. You can play with this bridge pose a little bit more by extending that left leg up off the mat. Lifting the left leg in one straight line and then dropping it back down to the floor. As we do the same on the right, lift the right foot off the ground. Let that right leg be one straight line. And go ahead and drop it back down to the mat on your next exhale. You stay in your bridge pose for a couple more moments, activating those glutes and the hamstrings. Exhale, drop back down to the earth. Inhale as you bring the knees into the chest. Interlace the hands around the low knees. If it's more comfortable for you to bring the forearms around the knees, you may do that now. As you begin rocking side to side, releasing any unwanted tension in the low back. As you start to allow the body to find relaxation, we're going to extend the right heel down to the mat. Once it is there, also extend the left foot down as the entire back side of the body meets the mat. For your final relaxation, your Shavasana. The arms are resting down by the hips, the palms shine upwards, close the eyes. As you take a moment to survey your body, adjusting it to make it as comfortable as possible. As every inhale that comes through the nose, be aware of the breath as it fills your lungs, the abdomen rises. Without pause, begin your exhalation. Continue to breathe through the nose while allowing the abdomen to fall naturally as air leaves the lungs. Every exhale that comes releases any unwanted tension in the mind or in the body. Wiggling the fingers and toes, bringing life back into the body. When you're ready, slowly bringing those knees into the chest. As then you let the knees fall onto one side of the body, into your fetal position, using the arm as a pillow for the head. You may rest here for as many breaths as we need before we conclude our practice. Keeping the eyes closed, slowly push yourself up into a seated position, relaxing those hands onto the knees. So slowly opening the eyes, bringing the hands to heart center, as I'd like to thank you all so much for tuning into my channel today. If you have any comments, I'd love to hear from you down below. Otherwise, please have a great day. Please like and subscribe, and namaste. Thank you all so much.